we just started to get a lot busier on the farm and more employees, lots more moving parts, so I figured we needed something in place that kept people safe. No one wants to get hurt and everyone wants to go home at the end of the day. That was kind of the biggest reason. From there, everyone kind of followed suit. Like it seemed to be a good thing because you got procedures out of it and it almost seemed like things got more efficient, once you had safety procedures in place. We knew we had to do something for safety. So we got started with our safety plan throughout the winter, finding resources online that would fit our farm, for the tasks that are being done, and trying to make it realistic enough that, it wasn't overkill on it. And from there I thought just doing, it's kind of like procedurally, having safety procedures for certain tasks on the farm that were realistic for our farm, and tried to put it in a binder. And then as we hired more people, doing orientation and having them look through it and kind of overview it. And then from there it was, we try to have many meetings, as many meetings as we can so that things are organized on the farm. We always have tried to do things safely. So I think it was almost like we already had the culture on the farm. But as we had more employees starting and more year-round operations on the farm, then in the winter I had a bit of time to kind of think through the process and get that ball rolling. Now it seems like it's just kind of like a culture on the farm, and I want to keep it that way because it's easy to lose that. But if we can keep implementing it and not being too overkill on it, then I think it's a good way to keep it going. I think it came fairly easy. Like everyone that we have hired, even interviewing, that was one component too, right? Was, we're pretty strict on how we do things on the farm, just being a seed farm and making sure that things are clean and things are inspected, and we always try and take that extra step to make sure everything's done right. With the existing employees, there was a lot of family still involved before we implemented a lot of this stuff, and everyone kind of was already at that point, so it wasn't that hard to really get everyone up to speed on what our goal was for safety. What surprised me the most was how we were already doing a lot of the things that you would call like a safety procedure or doing something safely. Just in the way we have done things in the past. So it was quite surprising that we were already doing a lot of it, but the other thing too was it made things even almost more efficient. Like when we're cleaning out equipment or combines or bins or trucks, you almost had a process in your mind or on paper that these are the steps to do this job, and then the safety component was already built in there, right? So cleaning out the combine, whoever's running the combine, being aware of who's working around the combine, so if something happens, they're not on their phone looking down, they're aware and able to turn off the combine if something ever happened to the person working around it. It was a good step to being more efficient and just being aware of what's going on the farm. We communicate safety through trying to have 2 safety meetings a month. We'll have coffee in the morning for 15 minutes, kind of a tailgate safety meeting, but in the busy times that's very rare that happens, so it's monthly meetings even if we can. Near misses that might have happened since the last meeting, things that have happened on other farms that we can learn from. That's kind of one part. The other part would be when we're busy in season, we use apps like WhatsApp for different, if we're seed shipping or if we're harvesting, using apps like that where we can go into detail. This is the task, these are the things that we got to watch out for, and if we have new people on the team, making sure that they're up to date on those aspects of the safety part. So when we hire someone new, full-time or part-time, no matter what position they're doing on the farm, I have a safety and procedures manual, which pretty much outlines from start to finish what we do on the farm. And so when we hire someone, we sit down, do an orientation for half a day, get them familiar with the operation, and then going through the safety aspects. Emergency contacts, poison control centers in there. We have mustard point on the main yard. If you're working alone, I have a section in there for field operations. So if you're working alone, communicating with myself, checking in once in a while to make sure everything's going good. Teaching those new employees, this is, I walk through it with them and then they take it home, they read it, and then we slowly just try and implement it in their everyday work as they, start out on the farm. From our safety meetings, I get feedback from the employees, and then if there's something that's happened or something that we could do better, then I tweak it in our manual and say, okay, no, this is the new way to do it, right? I think moving forward, just trying to keep the conversation of safety in everything we do and not to force it through everyone, but just, again, like the culture, make it a habit that's not painful to execute when we're doing tasks on the farm. It's plain and simple. Everyone wants to go home at the end of the day, and I think just that's enough to have everyone sustain the safety aspect on the farm.